Day 5 at Whistler Creekside featured the women's giant slalom sitting. Rainy weather greeted the skiers, with a few delays interrupting the runs. In the giant slalom, each skier makes 2 runs down 2 different courses on the same slope. The times are then added together, and the fastest total time determines the winner. In the day's first run, Tatsuko Aoki of Japan put up one of the best times. Aoki won bronze at the 2009 World Championships in this event, and she had a second and third place showing this year on the World Cup circuit. Participating in her 4th Paralympics, the 50-year-old Aoki started quickly with one of the best times over the first half of the race, but she did slow considerably on the latter part of the course. Despite slowing down a bit, her time of 1 minute and 33 seconds was good enough to put her in 3rd place. Stephanie Victor of the United States feels right at home in the giant slalom. Victor took gold in this event in the 2009 World Championships, and she followed that up with a pair of 3rd place finishes in World Cup giant slalom races this year. Victor and the other skiers use a monoski, which is a seat fixed on a single ski. The skiers also use forearm outriggers with shortened skis attached at the base for balance and steering. Victor skied consistent throughout the run and finished with a time of 1 minute and 29 seconds. That was good enough for 2nd place. Alana Nichols of the United States recorded the quickest time out of the gate, and her time was 2 seconds faster than anyone else at the first interval, and she was almost 3 seconds ahead of the field at the second interval. Nichols suffered a broken back from a snowboarding crash 10 years ago, but she's back on the slopes. And despite slowing down a bit near the bottom of the hill, she still finished a second and a half faster than the rest of the field with a time of 1 minute and 28 seconds. So the results after the morning run: Alana Nichols with a small lead over fellow American Stephanie Victor. Japan's Tatsuko Aoki is in 3rd place, 5 seconds off the pace, with 26-year-old Laurie Stevens of the U.S. in 4th. Kunoko Obanata of Japan, who is the defending gold medalist from this event 4 years ago, sits in 5th. World Cup leader Claudia Loesch had a very disappointing run and was not among the leaders. Now to the day's 2nd run in the women's giant slalom sitting. Still some rain and fog at Whistler Creekside, and despite a few delays, they were able to get the runs in. Japan's Kuniko Obanata was in 5th place after the morning run. The 37-year-old veteran of the Paralympic Games has won 9 Paralympic medals dating back to 1998 and the Nagano Games. Obanata fought through a hand injury to win a bronze medal in the slalom in day 3 here in Whistler. Her afternoon run was very strong, 1 minute and 33 seconds. So her combined time of 3 minutes and 8 seconds moved her up into medal position, good enough for 3rd place, passing her Japanese teammate Tatsuko Aoki. Stephanie Victor was in second place when she left the starting gate in the afternoon. Competing in her third Paralympic Games, the 40-year-old Victor's second run of the day was not quite as fast as her first run, but she still skied very well. Victor already has one medal won at these games, winning the gold medal in the women's slalom on day 3. Victor's time of 1 minute 32 seconds was third best in the afternoon. And that was enough to keep her in second place with a total time of 3 minutes and 1 second. But the surprise of the day was Alana Nichols of the U.S. She entered the second run in first place. Nichols has never won a Paralympic Winter Games medal, although she has won a gold medal in the Paralympic Summer Games. She was a member of the gold medal-winning U.S. wheelchair basketball team in Beijing 2 years ago. Just like her first run, Nichols attacked the course and was quicker than anyone else on the field. She finished with a time of 1 minute 29 seconds, more than 2 seconds ahead of the field, and her combined time was 2 minutes and 57 seconds, more than 4 seconds better than Victor's runner-up time. So only days before her 27th birthday, American Alana Nichols wins her first Paralympic Winter Games medal, a gold. After winning silver in the slalom, Stephanie Victor of the U.S. wins another silver, this time in the giant slalom. And Obanada of Japan is unable to successfully defend her gold in this event, but she does take home the bronze medal, her second of these games. Day 5 at Whistler Creekside featured the women's giant slalom, visually impaired. Rain and fog caused a few delays, but Mother Nature cooperated enough to allow the skiers to make their runs. In the giant slalom, each skier makes 2 runs down 2 different courses on the same slope. The times are then added together, and the fastest total time determines the winner. In the early session, Nadja Baumgartner of Switzerland skied one of the better times. Baumgartner and the other skiers with a visual impairment use the same equipment as able-bodied skiers, but they ski with a guide. Skiing is typically a solitary pursuit, the skier against the course, but when it involves visually impaired skiers, it becomes a team game where communication and trust between the skier and their guide is vital. The 25-year-old Baumgartner finished her run in 1 minute and 33 seconds, good enough for third place through the first run. Sabine Gasteiger of Austria had the second fastest time down the hill in the morning session. Gasteiger captured gold in the women's slalom just days earlier. She was the favorite in this event, having won the World Cup Giant Slalom earlier this season and winning gold in this event at last year's World Championships. Her run of 1 minute and 28 seconds put her in second place. Henrietta Farkasova of Slovakia has 2 wins and a third-place finish this season on the World Cup circuit. She finished 5th in the women's slalom earlier in these games. so she was hoping to ski a little better and reach the medal stand in this event. After her first run, Farkasova was looking great with a time of 1 minute and 25 seconds. That was almost 3 seconds ahead of Gasteiger and in first place after the morning session. So Farkasova sits in first, Gasteiger in second, and Baumgartner in third, 8 seconds off the pace. Vivienne Forrest of Canada sits in fourth and within striking distance. A few hours later, the second runs were scheduled as the rain stopped, but the fog remained at Whistler Creekside. Starting in the afternoon run in fourth place, Canada's Vivienne Forrest was looking to ski well in front of her home fans. The 30-year-old Forrest won silver a few days earlier in the slalom, but she struggled a bit at the top of the hill in her second run. Some of the time she lost near the top of the hill, she made up for at the bottom of the hill, and she finished with a time of 1 minute 36 seconds. Her total time of 3 minutes and 11 seconds for both runs vaulted her into third place. Now it was time for Sabine Gasteiger of Austria to see what she could do. She was sitting in second place after the morning session and only 3 seconds behind the leader. One of the older competitors, the 53-year-old Austrian, was consistent and strong. She was the defending bronze medalist in this event. The time of her second run was 1 minute and 33 seconds. That was second best time of the afternoon. Her combined time of 3 minutes and 2 seconds was good, but not good enough for gold. She would end up in second place. That's because this day belonged to 23-year-old Henrietta Farkasova of Slovakia. After putting up the best time in the morning run, she did the same in the afternoon. She finished the course in 1 minute and 31 seconds. Her total time of 2 minutes and 56 seconds was almost 5 seconds ahead of her closest competitor. So Farkasova wins her first ever Paralympic gold medal. Sabine Gastiger wins silver to go along with the gold she won in the slalom. Vivienne Forrest of Canada wins bronze. Nadja Baumgartner of Switzerland, who was third after the first run, missed a gate on her second run and was disqualified.
Day 5 alpine skiing action at Whistler Creekside, the men's giant slalom sitting category. Quite a wet and windy day up on the mountain. Each competitor will get 2 runs down 2 different courses, and the fastest combined time will win. Takeshi Suzuki of Japan on his first run of the day. Suzuki is the reigning world champion in this discipline. And he's looking good through this top part of the course. The Japanese skier is through the finish with a fast time, moving him ahead of the current leader. Fresh off his gold medal performance in the men's slalom sitting on day 3, Martin Braxenthaler of Germany's first run is underway. He's the defending Paralympic champion in this discipline, and Braxenthaler's almost 2.5 seconds ahead of Suzuki through the split. And he picks up speed on the bottom half of the course. The crowd cheering him through the finish. And he finishes well ahead, moving him into the lead. Christoph Kunz of Switzerland finished 8th in the giant slalom sitting in Torino and is looking for a much better result here in Vancouver. Kunz is a banker when not competing for his country. And he's looking fast, a second ahead of Braxenthaler after the top part of the course. He loses a bit of speed through the bottom, but still comes across ahead of the German. After one run, Christoph Kunz leads the way. Defending champion Martin Braxenthaler is right behind him, and Takeshi Suzuki of Japan rounds out the top 3. Takeshi Suzuki ranked 3rd coming into this second run. He won a World Cup event on this mountain in 2009. Suzuki flying down this course over 7.5 seconds ahead of the current leader. He loses a bit of steam through the bottom, but still finishes over a second ahead of Moore. Weather playing a huge role at Whistler on day 5. Lots of rain and wind caused a course hold and a delay of the race. Martin Braxenthaler looking to repeat his gold in this event from the Torino Games. He had the second best time in the first run. And he's doing well considering the deteriorating conditions, almost 6 seconds ahead of Suzuki through the first split. He keeps up a good pace through the bottom and crosses in first place with one skier left to go. Christoph Kuntz is the only man left that can catch the blazing time posted by Braxenthaler. Kuntz posted the best time in the morning session. And he's not having the run he would have hoped for through the top part of the course, and will need to pick up speed if he hopes to make up this 2.5 deficit. And he can't make that happen. He crosses the line almost 3 seconds back, which means that Martin Braxenthaler will defend his gold from Torino in the men's giant slalom sitting. Martin Braxenthaler of Germany captures the gold. Christoph Kuntz earns the silver, his first Paralympic Games medal in this discipline. And reigning world champion Takeshi Suzuki of Japan takes home the bronze medal. Martin Braxenthaler defends his gold from Torino by posting the fastest time of the day and earning his 8th gold overall in Paralympic competition. Day 5 alpine skiing action at Whistler Creekside. The men's giant slalom visually impaired. A wet day up on the mountain. Each competitor will get 2 runs down 2 different courses, and the fastest combined time will win. Nicolas Bereny of France ready to go, led by guide Sophie Troc. Bereny is the defending Paralympic champion and heavily favored to medal here in Vancouver. And the Frenchman looking fast. He's ahead of the split and really picking up speed in the bottom part of the course. Bereny crosses almost 2.5 seconds ahead of the current leader. Gianmaria Dal Maestro of Italy preparing for his first run of the day, led by guide Tommaso Balasso. Visually impaired skiers are assisted down the mountain by a guide that speaks to them through a headset inside their helmet. And Dal Maestro looking good on this run, just over half a second behind Bereny. He crosses well back of first, and he'll look to improve on that time in the afternoon session. Canada's Chris Williamson is up next, led by guide Nick Brush. The Canadian is a banker when he's not competing for his country. And he's almost a second and a half back of Berani at the split. The home crowd cheering him into the finish area. He crosses well back and would be fifth after the first run. John Santa Cana Mas-Tagui, led by Miguel Galindo Garces, is underway. He took the gold in this event in Salt Lake City and won a giant slalom race on this mountain in 2009. He's only just slightly behind at the split. Mas-Tagui showing his experience on this mountain in the bottom part of the race, picking up speed and moving into first place ahead of Berani. Fresh off his win in the slalom visually impaired on day 3, Jakub Krakow, led by guide Joren Madeira, is off on his first run of the day. And he's just behind the Spaniard at the first split. Krakow showing why he's a champion on the bottom half of this course, generating lots of speed and posting the fastest time of the morning session. Jakub Krakow leads the pack. John Santa Cana Mas-Tagui sits 0.4 of a second back. Nicolas Berani of France is looking poised to medal for the second Paralympics in a row. Canada's Chris Williamson ranked 5th coming into this afternoon session, the weather making the hill quite a bit slicker. And Williamson skiing very well through the top part of this course. The Canadian with a very solid run, picking up lots of speed coming into the bottom part of this course, and the Canadian crowd cheering him home. Williamson posting a time of over 6 seconds ahead of his nearest competitor. He would finish just off the podium in 4th. Gian Maria Del Maestro of Italy ranked 4th coming into this second run. The Italian is the defending silver medalist from Torino in the giant slalom visually impaired. And the weather not really cooperating at this point. Del Maestro 0.11 of a second ahead of Williamson at the split. The Italian picking up lots of speed at the bottom, and he would finish in the bronze medal position. Nicolas Berani of France up next. He finished with the 3rd fastest time in the morning session. And he's a 1.5 seconds ahead of Del Maestro's time at the first split. He runs into some trouble here, though, losing his footing and skidding out on the wet snow. He loses a ski and misses a gate. That fall would end his day and any chance for a medal in this event. John Santa Cana Mas-Tagui posted the 2nd fastest time in the first run. The weather really getting bad at this point. The Spaniard 2.5 seconds ahead at the first split, a blazing run for Mas-Tagui. Showing good aggression at the bottom of the course, and he crosses the line ahead of Del Maestro to move into first with one skier left to go. 19-year-old Jakub Krakow of Slovakia is making quite a splash thus far at these Paralympic Winter Games. He's just in front of Mastagui after the top part of the course. The 19-year-old hanging on to cross the finish line, 21 hundredths of a second ahead of his nearest competitor to win gold in the giant slalom visually impaired. Jakub Krakow, along with guide Jurg Medira, take home the gold for Slovakia. John Santacana Mastagui of Spain, with his guide Miguel Galindo Garces, earned the silver for Spain, and Italian Gianmaria Del Maestro with Tommaso Balasso win the bronze. Adding to his silver from Torino in the giant slalom, Gianmaria Del Maestro takes home the bronze medal. John Santacana Mastagui of Spain earning the silver to go along with his gold in this event from Salt Lake City. And Jakub Krakow of Slovakia wins his second gold in 3 days after two very solid runs in the men's giant slalom visually impaired.
Day 5 in wheelchair curling at the Paralympic Curling Center. The afternoon session of the round-robin tournament. Defending gold medalist Canada taking on Switzerland. Canada takes the early lead. Canada lying one, but Switzerland with the hammer. Swiss skip Manfred Bollinger tries the takeout, but he misses everything. Canada steals the point to take a 1-0 lead. Canada up 3-1 in the fourth, and lying 4, Canadian skip Jim Armstrong will draw his stone inside the 8-foot circle. Canada collects 5 points to take a commanding 8-1 lead. Canada now leading 9-1 in the fifth when Armstrong draws another stone into the house. That gives Canada 6 stones in the scoring area. So now Bollinger, with the hammer, needs to clear out a lot of those Canadian stones or put his own stone close to the tee line. Instead, his shot hits one of the guards. Canada gets 6 points to take a 15-1 lead after 5 ends. Switzerland concedes, so Canada looking very strong so far in defending their gold medal. The Canadians improved to 5 wins with only 1 loss in the round-robin tournament. The Swiss now have 2 wins and 3 losses. Day 5 in wheelchair curling at the Paralympic Curling Center. The afternoon session of the round-robin tournament. Italy taking on Germany. Both teams entering with 2 wins and 2 losses. Early on, German skip Jens Jaeger executes a perfect takeout. He taps out the Italian stone. While his stone remains in play, Germany goes up 2-0. Italy jumps on top in the second end. Already lying 2. Italian skip Andre Tabinelli. He'll draw his stone into the house for another point. Italy takes a 3-2 lead. But this game was decided in the 8th and final end, tied at 6. Italy lying 1, but Jaeger with the perfect tap out here. So now Germany is lying too, and the pressure is back on Italy. Tabinelli needs to come up with the winning shot. And he will tap out one German stone, but not both. So Germany steals the point and takes the win 7-6. This is Germany's first year participating in wheelchair curling at the Paralympics, and they are surprising many as their record improves to 3 wins and 2 losses. Italy falls to 2 wins and 3 losses in round-robin play. Day 5 in wheelchair curling at the Paralympic Curling Center. The afternoon session of the round-robin tournament, Norway against Japan. Norway takes the early lead. Already lying 1, Norwegian skip Rune Lorenston will execute a perfect takeout here. Norway captures 2 to take a 2-0 lead. Later, Norway lying 4 and Japan with the hammer. Skip Yoji Nakajima with the shot. But he's unable to navigate through all the guards. Norway steals 3 to take a 5-0 lead. This is the kind of day it was for Nakajima. Norway up 6-0 in the 4th, and the Norwegians lying 3. And Nakajima wants to draw his stone into the house, but he doesn't come anywhere close. 3 more for Norway, and it's a 9-0 lead. Japan finally gets on the board in the 5th end. Japan lying 2, and Nakajima with a chance to add a 3rd point if he can draw his stone anywhere in the house. But this time, too much weight. It was just an off day for Nakajima. Japan gets only 2 instead of 3. But while Nakajima struggled, his counterpart, Lorenston, was on his game. In the 5th, Lorenston will draw his stone inside the 8-foot circle. Around the guards, and 2 more for Norway. Norway holds on to win 11-3. Norway has now won 3 and lost 3. Japan has lost 4 of its first 5 games in round-robin play.
Day 5 ice sledge hockey action at Thunderbird Arena. Korea taking on the Czech Republic. 2.5 minutes into the first period, Zdeněk Krupika intercepted a cross-ice pass and headed to the net, scoring a short-handed goal to get the Czech Republic on the board. Thomas Voch doubled the lead at the end of the first with a power play goal, beating Korean netminder Hyuk Jung Choi to make it 2-0. To the second, and the Czechs kept attacking. Geiger tosses it out in front, and Pavel Kubs is there, firing it over Choi to take the Czech Republic up by 3. Still in the second, Korea trying to clear the puck, but Erik Fojtik is there to foil that and goes in all alone on Choi, beating him top shelf, sending the teams to the intermission with the Czech Republic up 4-0. A scary moment late in the second when Dong Shin Jang got bumped, falling over and hurting himself. He was taken off the ice on a stretcher, giving the thumbs up to the crowd on his way off. To the third, and Byeon-suk Choi scored his country's first goal of the tournament when his wrist shot from between the face-off circles beat goaltender Jan Mosuk high to the stick side. In the dying minutes of the game, Korea's Jong Kyung-lee made it 4-2 on this wrist shot. The Czechs secured 3rd place in Group A with their first victory of the tournament, while the Koreans are winless in 3 games but scored their first goals in their Paralympic Winter Games ice sledge hockey debut. Day 5 Group B ice sledge hockey action at Thunderbird Arena between Sweden and Italy. A large and very enthusiastic crowd on hand to cheer on these two nations. Sweden in the blue sweaters and Italy wearing white. To the second, and Sweden taking advantage of the Italians, and it's 16-year-old Per Kasperi with the shot, but Santino Stilitano gets a piece of it. Italy trying to make something happen in this extremely tight game. The Italians found themselves shorthanded for a prolonged spell late in the second period. And the Swedes capitalized on their second straight two-man advantage to open the scoring. Aaron Anderson picking up a loose puck inside Italy's end. Anderson with the low pass to teammate Marcus Holm, who swept the puck past Stilitano. To the third now, and Sweden trying to double its lead. A wrist shot there, but Stilitano keeps the Italians close in this game. Sweden outshot Italy 12-6. The puck getting lost in the crowd here, and it leads to a chance for Sweden. The Swedes beat the Italians 1-0. Sweden wins its first preliminary round game, while Italy lost its third straight match. These two teams will compete in qualification round games starting on day 6. Day 5 ice sledge hockey action taking place at Thunderbird Arena, with United States taking on Japan. Both teams have already qualified for the semifinals. A big crowd on hand to take in the action. The United States opened the scoring when Andy Yeo raced down the sideboards and drew a Japanese defender out wide before picking out Adam Page, who buried the puck top left corner. It proved to be quite a physical matchup between these two teams. Towards the end of the first period, the U.S. doubled its lead. The Japanese got caught up ice, and speedy Taylor Lipsett broke away before finding Greg Shaw, who scored on a wrist shot to make it 2-0. In the second, and the U.S. on the power play, Alexis Salmone slips through two defenders and beat goaltender Mitsuru Nagase with a sharp wrist shot to make it 3-0. Japan had a glorious chance to make its mark 3 minutes later, but Steve Cash with the brilliant save. Late in the second, Lipsett snuffs out any hope of a Japanese comeback to take the Americans up by 4. It was the fourth goal in these 3 games for the forward. To the third, and Taylor Chase flips it up to Joe Howard, who goes in all alone and put it past the Japanese goaltender to make it 5-0. The Americans keeping the pressure on. Halfway through the third, and Nico Landeros beats Fukushima Gloveside to make it 6-0. The United States had the same number of goals in the game as the Japanese had shots, with the Americans outshooting them 19-6. With the win, the United States finishes first in Group A.
Day 5 in wheelchair curling at the Paralympic Curling Center. The evening session of the round-robin tournament featured the United States against Sweden. In the first end, Swedish skip Glenn Aikkonen will draw his stone into the house. Sweden would get 2 points in the first end to take the lead. In the very next end, American skip Augusto Perez with the hammer. And Perez will place his stone where it needs to be. The U.S. collects 2, and that ties the game up. In the fourth, Sweden up by 1 and lying 1. But a nice shot here by Perez. And the Americans get the point, and the game is tied at 3. In the fifth, Aikkonen now. It's his turn for a nice shot. And he will tap his own stone into position. And Sweden gets the point. Sweden leads 4-3. To the seventh now. And another good shot by Aikkonen. He'll place his stone through traffic and into the house. Sweden collects 2 more points in that end to take a 6-4 lead. In the eighth and final end, the Americans running out of stones. Aikkonen executes a perfect takeout. And this will wrap things up. Sweden knocks off the United States 6-4. Sweden's record is even now at 3 wins and 3 losses. The U.S. suffers only its second loss to go with 4 wins. Day 5 in wheelchair curling at the Paralympic Curling Center. The evening session of the round-robin tournament featured Korea against Italy. Korea takes the early lead. Korean skip Hak-sun Kim with the hammer, and already lying 1. He executes a nice takeout, and Korea collects 3 in the first end to take the lead. In the second, Italian skip Andre Tabanelli with the hammer. He'll try to tap his own stone towards the center of the house, but with no luck, Korea steals 2 to take a 5-0 lead. Italy with a chance to get back in the match in the third end. Already lying 1. Tabanelli has a chance to add another if he can put his stone in the house. Unfortunately, this one with too much weight. It just keeps going, and it goes through the house. Italy settles for only 1 point. It's 5-1 Korea. Italy continues to come back in the fourth. Kim tries to tap out the Italian stone with the hammer. But he can't pull it off. Italy gets the point, and Korea's lead is now 5-2. In the fifth, Korea would widen its lead. Already lying 2, and Kim is able to draw his stone into the house. Another point for Korea. They take 3 and now have a commanding 8-2 lead. Italy trying to hang on. In the sixth, Tabanelli with the hammer trying to tap out the Korean stone. Nice shot by Tabanelli. Italy gets a point to remain alive. It's 8-3, but Korea would end this one in the seventh. Kim now with the hammer. And he will try to tap out the Italian stone. Korea picks up a point, and the final was Korea 9, Italy 3. So Korea continues to play well with 4 wins and 2 losses. Italy falls to 2 wins with 4 losses. Day 5 in wheelchair curling at the Paralympic Curling Center. The evening session of the round-robin tournament featured Switzerland taking on Japan. Switzerland takes the early lead. Switzerland's Manfred Bollinger with the shot. And watch the stone curl. He will draw his stone around several other stones and into the open house for a point. Switzerland leads 1-0. In the second, Japanese skip Yoji Nakajima trying to put his stone in play, or at the very least tap out a Swiss stone. Instead, he'll miss everything. His stone goes through the house. Switzerland steals a point to take a 2-0 lead. To the third end now. And the Swiss skip Bollinger with a nice shot here as he will tap his own stone onto the button. And Switzerland would collect another point to take a 3-0 lead. Japan finally gets on the scoreboard in the fourth end. Japanese third, Katsui Ikikawa, with a nice shot here. The perfect weight. It will land on the button, and Japan would come away with 1 in the fourth, but Switzerland still with the lead 3-1. To the seventh end, Japan now on top 4-3. Ichikawa will try a takeout here, but instead he taps the Swiss stone towards the center of the house. Switzerland would get 2 in that end, and they would lead 5-4. This game would go to an extra end. In the extra end, game tied at 5. And with one of their early stones, Japan would draw the stone into the center of the house. That stone would remain there on the tee line until the very end. Japan lying 1, Switzerland with the last shot, and Bollinger needing to get through traffic. Instead, he can't pull it off. Japan wins 6-5 in the extra end. Both teams now with records of 2 wins and 4 losses in round-robin play. Day 5 in wheelchair curling at the Paralympic Curling Center. The evening session of the round-robin tournament. Great Britain taking on Germany. Early on, no score. Germany's Jens Jaeger tries to tap out the British stone. He can't do it, though. Great Britain would take 2 and take a 2-0 lead after 2. To the fourth, Eileen Nielsen and Great Britain leading by 1. Nielsen with the nice shot, drawing her stone into the house. Great Britain takes 3, and they take a 5-1 lead. Germany with a chance to get some of those points back in the fifth end. Jaeger with the hammer and already lying 1. Looking to put his stone in the house and pick up another point. But he overshoots the house, so instead of 2, he has to settle for 1. Great Britain still leads 5-2. The Brits would close it out in the sixth end. Nielsen with the hammer and already lying 3. And once again, she draws her stone into the house. Great Britain would pick up 4 points in that end to take a 9-2 lead. Germany would concede, so Great Britain's record improves to 2 wins and 4 losses. Germany's record is now even at 3 wins and 3 losses.